Hi, I'm Troy from Studio 33 Guitar. Today we're going to look at the 4 essential guitar chords you need to know. We're going to look at the best way to play them, and I'll give you some tips on how to change from one chord to another smoothly. These 4 chords are basically the magic chords. As you begin to learn more songs, you'll quickly find out that 90% of popular music, whether it's rock, country, or pop, uses these 4 chords in the song. We're going to go through these 4 chords pretty quickly, but if you would like a more in-depth look at these chords and the theory behind them and tips on how to play them better, you can also check out our website, studio33guitarlessons.com, where we break down each chord, look at the theory, and we'll also learn some strumming patterns to help you play your favorite songs. So let's jump right in, zoom in on the neck, and have a look at these chords. The 4 chords that we're going to learn are G major, C major, D major, and E minor. Now we're going to do a slight variation on a couple of those. So if you've learned these chords before, you may want to still stick with this video and have a look at some of the variations and some of the tips that I'll give you. Let's start with the simplest one first, and that's going to be E minor. Because it's an E minor chord, we're going to start with this low E string. It's ringing open. So we're not going to put any fingers on that low E string. But our index finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the next string, the A string. And then our middle finger is going to go directly below it on the next string down, which is a D string. And that's all we need for the E minor chord. And now all 6 strings will ring. So that'll sound like this. It's important when you're playing these chords to make sure that you're getting a good curl to your fingers and that you're playing with your fingertips. You don't want to play with your fingers flat because your fingers will get in the way of the other strings. If you play with them more flat, then your chord will end up sounding more like this. So you need to make sure that you get a good curl around to your fingers, and that may mean taking your wrist and pushing it out slightly. Get a good curl around with the fingers and play with your fingertips. You also want to try and get your fingers to be as close to the fret as you can. And that'll give you the least amount of buzz. For this E minor chord, because both of these fingers are on the same fret, you won't be able to get them both right up close to the fret because it'll make your wrist go into an awkward position. So your index finger will need to be back a little bit further. But if you can get that middle finger as close to the fret as you can, that'll give you the best sound. You don't want to be right on top of the fret. You want to be just behind it. Now I'll show you a variation of that E minor chord that will be extremely useful to you. This is actually called an Emin7 chord. Now don't worry too much about the name, but just know that this chord can usually be substituted for an E minor chord. So if you're reading a chord chart and it says E minor and you play an Emin7, most of the time it's going to sound great. For an Emin7 chord, we need to add one more note. Now you'll see this shown a few different ways, and there's different ways to play it. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. The first way, which is really common, is just by adding your pinky finger to this note right here. So that is on your B string, which is the 2nd string up, and it's on the 3rd fret. So the other 2 fingers stay right where they were, and you're just adding that pinky finger, and the ring finger still just stays off. So that Emin7 would sound like this. So again, the regular E minor, Emin7. Now you could also play that same shape using your ring finger instead. It's just a little bit more of a stretch. Now I'll show you one more variation that I think is the best way to play this chord. Now what we're going to do is use this pinky finger and add it in to the note directly below where our ring finger is. So now we have those two fingers stacked together on the highest two strings. And then our original two fingers back where they were. So now we have all four fingers down. We're still strumming all six strings, and that sounds like this. So either way is still an E minor 7 chord because this note is the one that makes it a 7. But you can play that either way. I recommend playing it this way, and you'll see why that is when we look at the next chord.